Just a second, guys. All right, hi guys. My name is Renee Bennett, and I am the ESL teacher at Kimberlin Academy. I've been teaching for 10 years. This is my 4th year as an I3, and I'm super excited to share with you my somewhat expertise on MAP. What I'm going to show you is called the Learning Continuum. It is a great resource that you have. That you may not even be aware of, where you can use to group your students according to their skill level. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in and show you how to log in, where you need to go, and all of those things to ensure that you can pull groups that are truly meaningful in a way that you're able to see how each student should be grouped according with students that are on their skill level. And it could be different skill levels for different categories. So give me just a sec. Okay, so when you log into MAP, you're going to see, you're going to come up to this basic page. And I'm sorry, guys, my computer is glitching and it's going really slow. Give me just a second. Awesome. Okay, so when you log into MAP, you're going to see an initial screen. And the first thing you need to do is click where it says View Reports. View Reports is on the left-hand side of your paper, or I'm sorry, left-hand side of your screen. So when you see the View Report, you're going to click on the, hold on, my screen just went blank. Awesome. Okay, so you're going to click on, let me go back a couple slides. The MAP growth reports. There you're going to have a selection of different kind of reports that you can use. One of the reports that you might want to take a look at another time is a classroom breakdown. It's a great opportunity for you to see where your kids are. But if you get an opportunity, my absolute favorite report to use is a student profile report. And that's because it's a great report. It allows you to see a student's results in a graph, like from the time they first took MAP. And it also can tell you their prediction if they're predicted to pass STAR. It's got a couple of really great options. So if you get an opportunity, go ahead and check that out. The next thing that you're going to need to do is once you click the MAP growth reports, you're going to click on the Learning Continuum. The Learning Continuum is just, again, such a great, useful resource that you have that you may not even be aware of. So the next thing you're going to do is it'll bring you to your class view. The first thing you're going to do is make sure that you have selected fall 2008, 2000 or fall 2017, 2018 for your term rostered as well as your term tested. This is extremely important because, oh, hold on, friends. My partner's saying the screen didn't change. Give me just a sec. Okay, I'm going to try to change the screen again. I'm going to close out some of my other tabs and maybe that'll help. Give me just a moment. Sometimes technology isn't our friend as awesome as we enjoy using it. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. So let's try this again. So my name is Renee Bennett, and I am a ESL teacher at Kimberlin Academy. I've been at I3 now 3 years as it is now, and then 2 years long time ago. This is my 10th year teacher, and my partner is Vivi, and she's a third grade teacher at Walnut Glen. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about is MAP, and I'm really going to talk to you about the Learning Continuum, which is such a great resource for you to use, and it allows you to create purposeful groups, which I think sometimes is very hard because sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know if this kid can go in this group or that group, and they're kind of in between, and it gives you a great opportunity to see how they would group your kids, especially if you're just wanting to teach one particular skill versus an entire skill set. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to pull these reports, okay? Give me just a second. I'm going to switch screens. Okay, so when you first log into MAP, you're going to see a screen, and it'll say like there'll be a graph that's a student report and a bunch of other things. The first thing that you need to do is to click your map growth reports. It's automatically going to take you to this screen. There you have several different reports to choose from, and you choose from the one that you think works best for you. For today's purposes, we're going to use the learning continuum, but when you have an opportunity, go back and look at the student profile report. It is probably one of my most favorite reports to pull because it allows you to see all your students' previous MAP scores so you can see their trend line. It also allows you to see if they're predicted to pass STAR, their possible ACT score, several different really great facets that it has. So again, check it out. But for today's purposes, we're going to click on the learning continuum. The learning continuum allows you to breaks down every single skill that you could possibly think of for reading and for math. So for today's purpose, we're going to use math. So the first thing that you need to do is click on Fall 2017-2018. This is your term rostered and your term tested. Typically it's already there, but it gets a little wonky around like winter and spring when we're in the testing window. So just make sure that that's selected correctly. The next thing you're going to do is select your name, your class, which is really important. So for some of you that teach several different sections, this is extremely important. However, the good thing is that your classes are named just as they are on Skyward. So it's not a big deal. You'll know which one to select. And then whether you want to look at their reading, or their math, and you just click View Report. And here we are at the learning continuum. There are categories and subcategories to help you navigate. This is probably my favorite tool to use in MAP ever because it allows me to really hone in on those skills that my kids need. I selected, you're going to click the drop-down menu. I selected place value since it's one of the first skills that were taught in the curriculum this year. So after you click that, the first thing that you're going to see is the data is your data ranges. The first data range, 121 to 130, there aren't any students there. So then you just go to your next one. The goal range is on the left and it's by tens. On the right, you'll be able to see the students that have fallen in that range as well as their current RIT score and their range in this skill set. Obviously, for privacy purposes, I blocked out their names, but you can see it when you pull your own class report. Now, I wanted you guys to get the option to really see the full range of that category. This is really great because as your students get stronger and their RIT scores get higher, more skills are added to that range. So it's really easy to create these groups when you want to start a new unit, or use it as a way to double check yourself using valid data, which sometimes I think we know, and we're so used to thinking on the top of our heads that sometimes we don't double check ourselves. I know I have to go back and double check several times when I'm teaching new skills to my kids. And if you notice, as the ranges get higher, on the left, more skills are added. And this is a good thing because it's a great way for you to enrich without having to create the wheel. Typically, I would suggest that you really look at these because a lot of them, you can add them together and it just be, one thing that you would teach versus 4 or 5 little itty bitty lessons that are unnecessary when you can teach one mini lesson using 3 of those skills. Now, this is probably my absolute favorite option because it really correlates with our curriculum really well. You have grouping options, and you can decide instead of filtering by topic to filter by standard. So this was huge for me because if you look on the learning curriculum and you look on the planning and pacing calendar, it has the TEKs that you're teaching that week. And so instead of having to go and try to look up that TEK, boom, it's right here for you. I typically use this feature when I want to hit a particular skill for a kiddo that has a gap, or maybe it's a group of kids that have a gap somewhere. And I'm like, ah, and I figure out what it is. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. It also gives you the option to click if you're like this one you're looking at right now is a second grade group, but maybe you want to find a third grade TEK for those kids because you want to enrich. Click the third grade little box, and then it'll give you all of those TEKs that are aligned in the subcategories. Here's just another option that you have to look at more skill sets as the ranges get bigger and your students have more enrichment needs. I wanted you to be able to see how full it really truly is, because the skills continue to build upon one another. And also, you can also look at the next range set for your kids to determine whether you need to say, oh, you know what, Johnny is just killing it right now, so I'm going to move him to the next range, and look for those skills that are not previously in the one that he's currently in. Now, this is probably, to me, one of the most important features that you have, because you can print out the entire learning curriculum for your class. Now, is it going to take a lot of paper? Probably, but you may not want to print the whole thing at once. So if you're doing place value, you can continue to have that drop-down menu open, and it'll print everybody's goal range from just the place value portion. Now, if you want to click all of them and just print the whole thing out, by all means do it. I typically don't do that because it takes up a lot of paper that you typically may not be ready to use yet. And then if you're like me, you just lose it or misplace it, or it just goes in a folder and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do with it? But this is a great thing to keep in your data binder when you just want to take a quick look. It's a great thing to have if you want to reference during parent-teacher conferences, not obviously allowing the parent to see it, but telling them, you know what, Johnny's goal range and place value is this. However, we've been working really hard on these skills, and I've noticed that he has done so much better. So I'm moving him to the next goal range because I think he's capable of completing work at that level. So again, this is how, when you click, this is what shows up when you print, and it gives everyone's information. The same thing that you see on your screen, it prints it the same way, just not in color. And then again, it's just another view for you to see. It's still printing everyone's information. Okay, and so that's basically it for my map presentation today. If you use the learning continuum, I promise you, you will see such a difference in the way that you group your groups and the way you group your kids, because it's so much more meaningful that you have data to back up that these kids need these skills, and this is where they are struggling at, and this is also where they're very successful. If you like this PowerPoint, or if you have any questions about MAP, please feel free to give me shoot me an email. My email is reneelbennett@yahoo.com. It's RLBENNET@garlandisd.net. I'm sorry, I was giving you my home. If you have any questions, you can shoot me an email anytime. I'd love to help. If you have questions about wanting to group your kids, or you're a little unsure, let me help you. I'd be glad to. And we're going to stay online just for a few minutes to give people the opportunity to ask questions if they have any. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and tune out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. I know how busy you are planning for conferences. Again, shoot me an email if you have any questions. Y'all have a good afternoon. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and tune out.